You didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, keep your fucking mouth shut. I got nothing else to add there.
Oh, I wish I could have.
On this salary, Doc, you're not paying me.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, you mean, do you like EDM?
Not EDM in a basement, but
BDSM in a basement.
Whoa, I've been to a couple of those parties.
I was going to say, what initials are we talking about right now?
Kevin Bacon just
why doesn't this work right now? And I'm like, I don't know. It's your computer. Mine works fine.
We're going for the lettuce.
If that's what it takes to get you out here, Lucy.
You know I can't resist a head of lettuce. Hot dogs with tomatoes on them and lettuce. I'm gonna tear this basement apart.
Hot.
Hey everybody, this is Aaron Christensen of Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and this is Streaming and Screaming. And welcome, and please say hello to my co-host, Chad the Bird.
Hello to your co-host, Chad the Bird.
And Lucy Ball of the last video store on Earth.
I gotta take it up with you after the show, but why the hell does he get top billing? Is it because he's your neighbor or whatever?
No, I'm upstairs.
he just lives upstairs. That's all.
Yeah.
He's like Rhoda from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I would be Rhoda.
you are 100% Rhoda.
Yep,
I feel like I'm
100%
listening
Rhoda,
to people
broadband.
talk about Sex in the City right now. Oh my God.
Also, you can see 100% Rhoda at the Metro next week. They're opening for Glizzy Gobbler.
Whoa! You weren't supposed to tell people about my limited one-night DJ engagement down there. That was supposed to be a surprise.
Well, surprise, a pop-up
Yeah,
show.
I'm
You never
surprised.
know when they're coming.
We are here to chat about all things streaming online, scary stuff. And we are going to be talking about 3 relatively new movies. We're going to be talking about Immaculate from 2024. That's pretty new. We're going to be talking about Incantation from 2022. That's relatively new. And then there's Isolation, which is kind of our way back machine, almost 20 years ago, but well worth your time. And,
wait, there's something weird about all 3 of those movies. Like,
there's something in common, some sort of alliterative
or ice cream episode.
Ice cream. We're doing ice cream.
If you drop this on a Sunday, you could call it an ice cream Sunday.
Sunday.
I think I will drop it on a Sunday just for that.
Yeah, that you can take that shit to the bank, baby. I'm
Done.
full of them.
Done. I'm sending you your percentage.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Welcome to Ice Cream Sunday. Oh man, that sounds so good. Why didn't we think of that before?
So good.
I think we should kick things off with Immaculate.
Woo!
Because let's see who's calling that one. I think Chad. We'll say that's yours.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about Immaculate.
I haven't been this happy since Smile. I'm not. That's like legit. I loved Immaculate to its core. It is as advertised. Is it in fact immaculate? No notes. You got Sydney Sweeney on her world tour right now. Good for her. I heard she she didn't self-produce, but she fought for this movie.
Well, and she is one of the producers.
Yeah, she is one of the producers.
She did do a whole lot of
promotional.
I was going to say campaigning, but that's a little charged. But
a little now.
Why, Lucy? Why?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
She,
anyway, what's going on Reddit?
No. Yeah, she kind of made this movie happen, and it made me respect her even more than Sid's Garage, which is another sweet thing that she is working on. It's like Jay Leno's Garage, but with Sydney Sweeney, and she's just like, "Here's my favorite car," and you're like, "Go on, Sydney Sweeney, I'm watching."
Well, I have to confess, I didn't know who Sydney Sweeney was.
Yeah.
It was Sydney Sweeney in Immaculate, and I was like, "Who's Sydney Sweeney?" I still don't know that I 100% know from whence she sprung and became Sydney Sweeney headliner.
She was in Euphoria, right? I think that was like the big break.
I remember seeing her for the first time in season 1 of The White Lotus. And then someone was like, "Oh, it's that one from Euphoria." And I was like, "Oh, I've never seen Euphoria."
What is Euphoria?
I tried watching Euphoria.
It's a
and
prestige.
It made me feel greasy.
Yeah, it's a prestige TV, or not TV because it's on streaming, but it's a prestige series about horny teenagers doing drugs and stuff.
Have you
it's
seen
like,
turns?
No, I've never.
In the cradle.
I've never really watched it because I tend to not look at things with horny teenagers in them. From what I gather, it's generally like Degrassi on steroids, you know.
It's like Dark Degrassi. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, well, anyway, I think she's wonderful in this movie, and I love the fact that she fought to have it produced. It's directed by Michael Mohan, who I don't know what else he's done,
Mhm.
but this is just one of those films that I was like, it's really well acted, it's really well written, it's really well directed. The production design is amazing, and I did not know where it was going ever.
It throws you for so many loops in places that
We
you're
will
like,
be talking spoilers.
Yeah, by the way.
and without spoiling too hard, from
Spoiling hard with Lucy Ball.
oh, that's my next show idea right there.
Hell yeah, I love it.
I'm gonna put hockey sticks on the back of cars and stuff, and, spoiling hard. You know, judging from the trailers, I thought this was gonna be a sort of Rosemary's Baby meets The Omen kind of rehash. And it looked like a very good rehash, but a rehash nonetheless. And when I sat down and watched the movie, I was very pleasantly surprised to find out it was not that, and it totally used that like against the viewer in a really cool way.
Yeah, our expectations are it's going to go this way, and it does not. And then it doesn't again, and then it doesn't again.
And it continues to not until it just sort of ends. Basically.
And then it get and then you get to that
I thought they
ending.
stuck the landing on that one.
Oh
so
my
hard.
God.
The ending was so good.
So
it was
good.
so good. I yelled at my television screen with how much I
I
loved
screamed
that
so good.
Yeah, we won't spoil the ending, but holy mackerel.
Yep.
And I love that they had the
Literally
chutzpah
holy mackerel.
to not show us anything. And we're like, well, what was it?
Yep.
And yeah, that was some chutzpah. I enjoyed it so much.
Can we talk about the soundtrack? Because that score was dope too. It was
it
vintage,
was.
like Giallo kind of.
Yeah, it definitely had that
Dario vibe.
Yeah, it had a very like 70s Italian horror vibe
Yep.
to the soundtrack, which works since they're in Italy.
Italy,
Yep.
yeah.
In
It
a
was not-
spooky ass convent. Talk about creepy. Oh my
a
god.
freaky ass convent. I was
Yeah.
like, everybody there is hot and weird. I was like, okay, go on.
Yeah, that's my kind of nunnery right there, I tell you.
Yeah, I mean, our basic premise is that we got Sister Cecilia, who is played by Sydney Sweeney, and
Sister Cecilia by Sydney Sweeney.
and she's plucked from the U.S. And she had a near-death experience, and now she believes that God saved her for a higher purpose, and now there's an opening in this little convent in Italy, in remote Italy, it seems, and she is taken into the fold. She has like the indoctrination ceremony, and then something weird happens.
Weird shit.
And I mean, I guess I should have known based on the title what might be happening, but I went in so cold, and I went, I wonder what the Immaculate is going to refer to. And it's like,
Oh, Immaculate Conception. Oh.
Yep.
There
But
it
that's
is.
yeah.
Nailed
She winds up pregnant, and she has never known a man, so they say.
Well,
Oh,
she's
never,
talked to them.
never biblically known a man. Yeah.
She's
So-
aware
so-
of several men.
Did you not see a trailer for this?
I
one,
saw
Doc?
nothing. I only saw. I went in as cold as could be.
Okay.
I didn't even know. I didn't know who Sydney Sweeney was. I didn't know. I knew a poster, and that was it.
Yeah, so this is one of the rare times that I would say seeing the trailer beforehand will sort of enhance the experience.
Yeah.
You know, I could go on day in and day out about how horror movie trailers give away all the good stuff in a movie nowadays. And, you know, if you saw the trailer for Sting, I feel like you've basically seen Sting, you know?
Yep.
And I felt this way about Immaculate because they showed her get into the convent. They show an ultrasound. So they reveal that there's a mysterious pregnancy, like from the jump. So I was like, okay, Antichrist, Omen, cool. Let's go.
Not Antichrist. Because Antichrist is just Willem Dafoe's naked penis apologizing.
Oh, God. I try not to think about that movie, Chad. I try really hard.
It still haunts me. Every time I see Willem Dafoe, I'm like, oh, man, I hope we don't see his junk.
Yeah, you're toting that thing around, though? Gee, man.
Also, good
You
for
might need a license
Good
for that, I
you.
think.
That's why he always looks so happy.
Is it good for you? You got to get special underwear to support
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently
I
it's
don't feel good about
It's
any of
also
that.
a demon. In
No,
combination
I'm
with
sure you
Antichrist.
don't. I'm sure you don't, Doc. Come on.
But anyway, yes, the trailer. I hadn't seen it, but I like where you're going, where it's kind of like, you get the misdirection of thinking this is what it's going to be, and then it's a hard left turn into ouch.
that was such an interesting angle they took.
We're not spoiling that part though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you should leave that. Like, I
We
think
should
that
leave
one
the
is
twist
better
alone.
left alone.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is crazy if I'm saying it, folks. I will
Right.
spoil anything all day and every day. But this is one you should experience as it happens.
A thing happens that you're not expecting while you're expecting something to happen, let's say.
Right. Question for you all, because it seems like there is a pretty clear sentiment toward the men in the Catholic Church.
Right.
You know, like the patriarchy is alive and well and living in Italy.
Well, I had never known.
But we also have the mysterious red masked women.
Right.
Who do you think is running the show? Do you think the men, or do you think it's the women in the masks? Like, who do you think is actually pulling the strings?
I think it's the men because of what the women in the masks do. They're like more defense than they are offense on this one. Like, they kind of always get in the way, right? They block it. I'm using football terms.
which is why we're getting these blank expressions. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to
They're
speak.
like bouncers.
I'm going to speak more relatably and talk about
This is a
Dune.
horrorcast. I apologize. You're talking
no,
about Dune.
Nothing is more relatable than Dune. Okay, nothing.
Look,
more.
I know you know what I mean when I say Dune. Am I right, guys?
Am I talking about the spice, right?
Yeah, that's like it's like we going to Dave and Buster's, Buffalo Wild Wings, talk about Dune.
I mean, have you gone to Dave and Buster's or Buffalo Wild Wings with me? I'll talk about
true.
Dune
No,
all
we'll talk
day.
about Dune all day.
Yeah, man. So to be relatable, because nobody has ever felt alienated by Dune before.
This movie is a lot like Dune.
I want to think that the sort of red hooded women are like a Bene Gesserit twist into strings. I want to think that really badly. But unfortunately I do not. I wouldn't even say it's the men of the Catholic Church that orchestrating everything. I think it's specifically a one man.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I mean, but that one man he brought it to them, and if they didn't go for it, it wouldn't happen. So I feel
in my mind,
let's
he's like a
talk
wandering
about
dude.
religion, Aaron. Let's go into it, huh? No, I think
I love that this movie slaps the Catholic Church all over the place.
Up and down and all around.
So yeah, I think that's a piece of it, and sort of you could say a larger statement writ large. I'm practicing my academics here.
I think you should say that because that was glorious.
Thanks. No, it's immaculate. Come on.
Right.
We talked about Glorious a few episodes ago.
Right. Different film.
But
just as religious.
A little bit. But yeah, I think that's sort of an illustrated narrative about how people will like do most anything if the promise of eternal salvation or whatever.
Something you know quite a bit about.
Oh no, I'm on the what is it? The supply side.
Yeah.
That when you're not.
Wholesale.
Yeah, when you can't get into the other club, they send you down to the mine shaft, and we got well liquor and hotter go-go dances, but the facilities leave a little bit to be desired.
And the donuts are just Entenmann powdered. That's it. Nothing.
What's wrong with an Entenmann powder?
Oh, you're gonna get me mad. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not fancy. Of course you love it. Of course,
I love it.
So what do you think? What do you think the larger statement writ large is?
I'm glad that caught on. I think the larger statement writ large is that that's a lot of fun to say.
I'm going to say it a lot.
The larger statement writ large is that it's fun to say the larger statement writ large.
No, what have I done? What hell hath I wrought here?
What hell won't you wrought here?
Oh wow. But no, I think the sort of larger statement is that the
larger statement writ large.
Yeah. Oh yeah, excuse me. The larger statement writ large with regard to would be that hitherto, therefore, for the wit, whatever. That that's kind of the way churches operate. For it's you got one guy sort of saying like, "Oh, do this thing for me, and you'll whatever," and he's really out for power, and
number one,
glory, and all that stuff. But you
like
got
the
these
mob.
Yeah, exactly. And you got these fanatics who eat it up and will do anything to stay in the good graces. It's that sort of edgy, but also very true statement of like the difference between an organized religion and a cult is the numbers,
Right.
Mm.
So yeah,
And the tax breaks.
oh man, let me tell you.
Do. Floor is yours.
I've been trying to start a church for forever. The Infernal Caprine Order of Luciferians, and they will not take my calls.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm in.
Can I start a letter writing campaign?
Oh, please do. Elect me to your local board. It'll be okay, I promise.
Local elections, everyone.
You heard it
I
here,
know what
folks.
happens.
Come
I
on.
quote unquote won't do anything evil, quote unquote.
My favorite thing about all this was the text we got back from the doc after he finally enjoyed.
Yeah, I was the
film.
last one to the party.
And I believe you said, I don't know what I can say about this. It was great. No notes.
I believe the words were, I'm intimidated
I feel
to talk
genuine.
about this movie.
I don't feel worthy to talk about this movie.
What can I say? Everything's great.
I was
Please
just
write
watching
more.
it. I'm just watching it and going, you just aren't misstepping
Nope.
anywhere.
No,
Like, it's just
the
there's no
acting was
apologies
good.
needed.
The script
Stick the
was
landing.
good.
Oh man, the use of dead chickens was pretty
Mhm.
amazing.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, come on.
Really fucked up from my perspective.
Although
but it's
next
a horror
time you
film.
gotta hide the chicken better, and that's not a euphemism.
Yeah, because I want to say in our text chain, I think Chad, you said something to the effect of like, Sydney, you can act better than that. But I thought Sister Sydney, whatever her character's name was,
Cecilia.
Cecilia, Sydney Sweeney, whatever.
Cecilia.
Yeah, Cecilia. I like that.
Suspiria. Yeah.
Oh, Suspiria. Oh
There's
my
a bit
God,
of
yeah.
that too. There is a
Whoa,
bit of Suspiria.
yeah,
in
this is like this is a big cannoli of Italian horror. love.
Heck
it.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
And it's
Um,
shot in Italy with a lot of Italian crew members too.
so it just sort of goes across the board. I heard that they got Dario Argento to play the chicken. Anyway,
You did not hear that.
But he
don't
would
know
play
that.
the chicken.
You don't know
if
that.
you ask Dario Argento, be like, I will play the chicken.
I hear all kinds of things. That doesn't mean anybody said them.
Say it.
but I
It's late
hear
at
'em.
night. I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! But to get to
Speaking of Jesus,
oh man, hey, we go way back.
I'm sure.
But
prominently featured in Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney.
yeah,
Cecilia.
but the oh, this is good TV.
This is how good Immaculate is. You will snort.
Yep. Yeah.
But not really out of laughter. It's not a funny movie.
No,
it
it's
really
not.
is.
It's
But
not
it's,
funny.
I want
Definitely
to put that out there,
serious.
though. There is jokes in this movie. Like, there were moments that made me giggle, which I think is
Oh.
important for a lot of horror films. Like, you need to, like, break the tension sometimes.
Well,
Yeah,
and
jokes in the way that you have that coworker that's like, well, I'm just gonna kill myself.
Yep.
It's like they were very severe jokes.
When a certain
There's a
person,
montage in this movie.
There's
There's
a
a
montage.
montage of Catholic shit in this
Yeah,
movie
awfulness,
that is
yeah.
hilarious.
What I was going to say about a larger point writ large
Writ large.
and Sister oh yeah, when she was acting with that scene about the chicken, I thought that she did a really good job, and apparently the clergy thought she did a really good job
Right.
too, until homegirl had to go sticking her nose in everybody's business and
Yep.
figured out what's going on. So you can't blame it on what did we call her, Cecilia or
yeah,
whatever?
Siswalia.
Yeah, well, we can't put it on her.
Siswolia.
No, hear me out. The reason that's nice. The reason I texted that to you is because that's what I was thinking in the moment. In that moment, I was like, Sydney, I know you're a better actor than this. And then I realized, oh, wait,
Yep.
she's not 100% going through what she's going through.
Yep.
That's how you knew. And that's how I was like, oh, shit, this is so much smarter than I thought it was going to be.
Well, and we have several other sisters in the convent who come into play. We have her friend, who is the sassy nun.
Sister Mary
That's
Catherine.
that's my favorite kind of nun, is a
the
sassy
best.
nun.
Yeah, her semi-roommate who lives down the way. Comes
Yeah,
in.
it goes like this. It goes sassy nun, busty nun, curvy nun, and
Horror
then
nun, like killer nun.
No, killer nun's kind of down on the list. I feel like
Really?
smacking them with the ruler is scary enough. I think.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, sexy kinky nun.
Well, depends on where she's
I
smacking.
was like, that's not so kinky. Yeah, no, thank you.
Across
Maybe-
the bottom, sure. On the knuckles, that's just a none.
It's just
Don't kink shame.
That's a
Don't kink
PSA.
shame.
That's a PSA, folks. If she's smacking your bottom, say yes, ma'am. If she's smacking your knuckles, go right on the chalkboard.
Oh yes, there's some pretty wicked gore in this movie as well.
Yup.
And this one's in the trailer, so I don't feel so bad talking about it. I personally am a huge fan of when a horror movie has a oh man, I'm on my larger point writ large. I got to use a good word. When they take banality.
Ooh,
Yes.
yes. Good
Google
word,
that
good
one,
word.
kids.
Yep.
When they
Also, take banality responsibly.
yeah. But when there's
Only with a doctor's prescription.
oh man, no, I take it and operate motor vehicles. What are you talking about? But
He's got a farmer's license.
when they take something banal and then put
Banal.
something.
Speaking of kink shaming,
The city of Ottawa
Keep it in.
is very
Keep it
upset with
in.
how you're saying the word banal.
The city of Ottawa.
Yeah, that's a reference to a YouTube video. I just netted you like 130 something viewers.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll send you guys the video after this is done.
I know what you're talking about. I'm happy about that.
I know you're trying to make a point, and I
it doesn't really matter. But the point is,
banality is.
I like when there's like something really normal happening, and then there's just some like horrible shit that goes on in the background. So when she's like strolling through the convent, just I don't know what songs nuns whistle. I imagine it's like WAP or something. But when she's like walking through the convent, and then homegirl jumps off, quote unquote, jumps off the roof.
Yeah, right.
That like seeing that scene in the trailer had me like, well, I'm gonna watch this movie, I guess.
Yep. That was great too, because it's kind of this out of focus. You know, falling behind. You go, what did I just? Oh, I know what I just.
Yeah, they took the "I do it for you" Damien thing and iterated in a cool ass way.
Well, I remember
of the like moments that are like these are classic Italian horror movies, classic 70s movies. They're just all there, and they're all on the face of it. They're just like, obviously you want to think this is what's happening.
And what's funny is, Lucy, off camera, you showed us your Mark of the Devil barf bag.
I'm so glad you said Mark of the Devil barf
there's
bag.
100% callback to Mark of the Devil in this movie.
Yup.
Oh, the cross brand, right?
Well, the tongue getting pulled out.
Yep.
Yep. Like that is
nothing. No, what is it? No hate like Christian love. I think that's what they say.
Like Christian love, baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but the cross branding on the feet was
that was
brutal.
so good.
That was some wild shit.
So happy.
Yep. And the thing is, like, I'm like 100% that happens. I believe it. They didn't make that up.
That and I like a thing I've always appreciated about the Catholics. Yeah, here we go. The devil's talking about the Catholics. Line up, everybody.
It would come up at some point.
But a thing I've always appreciated about the Catholics is Protestant churches feel an awful lot like a social engagement, more than more than like a centuries old tradition. And I've always really thought it was aesthetic that Catholics have things like saint bones and relics of the crucifixion and all the ritual and stuff. It adds a certain mystical air, and the way the movie played with that was really cool.
Well, and I do love the fact that they really do hang on to the idea that, like, we have this item from the moment,
it's like some Tomb Raider shit.
You're like, really? Do you? Or is that just an old railroad
I would
spike?
love it if Laura Croft showed up in this movie.
Oh, don't give the crossover people ideas.
I'm happy about it. Bring it on.
When we were in Bruges, I told
you you went to Bruges.
They had a vial of supposedly the blood of Christ.
Whoa.
And you're kind of like,
how did it taste?
Yeah, you're supposed to drink it. They do that like once a month, right?
They said you're supposed to.
There's only a little bit. They don't want to.
What is this do in remembrance of me? That's what he said. And you're just keeping it.
Tastes like Fernet Branca.
I'm gonna guess it's more like Franzia. He was a man of the people.
Stuff in the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it does make me like go, really? Do we really think that is in fact the blood of Christ? Or is it just something cool that we've got around, that we can have in our gift shop?
Either
Man,
way, it's
P.T.
immaculate.
Bonham would have a field day.
Yep. Good Catholic boy.
Can you put it on your eggs?
Whoa.
That's messed up. Can you
I
put
was
it on
just
ice
thinking.
cream?
I was just thinking about Hugh Jackman when I said P.T. Bonham, so I don't know.
Not in this movie.
Another good Catholic boy.
Hey, you catch him cruising around West Hollywood a lot. I don't know if he's that good of a Catholic boy.
It's true.
Or is he just a
Very good Catholic
He's a typical
He's just
Catholic
like-
boy. Yeah.
Checking in. There is a song that is featured in Immaculate that is from an Italian horror film. I can't think of what the movie is, but the song's like dum dum da 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 da. It's like this harpsichord song.
Oh yeah, that's dun 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 dun
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Goblin. I
That's
think.
what it is. Yeah, it's a goblin song.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was
But there
Goblin.
is
They
a
were in
song
all
that's
those movies.
There's a sequence. I think it's when they're folding the laundry and the music comes on that it's from an old Italian horror film, and I still haven't figured out what it is because it's not on the soundtrack. But
It's like when what's the movie? What's the other Italian Catholic horror movie? I know I'm narrowing it down a lot.
please. Yeah, get laser focused.
Yeah,
But
it's like
it's the one with the dig site, and there's like some spooky nuns, and
the third mother?
No, it's got a sort of Lovecrafty vibe about it.
Yeah.
It's like a college team or something. It's an archaeology dig, and they're in Italy, and it's all weird. It's got a name.
Weird.
It's got a name
all
like
weird.
it's got one of those 70 names like the Beyond, the Door, the Fourth Quarter. Like it's got one of those weird kind of names.
I'm not picking it up from what you're laying
And
down.
I'm not doing a good description, but Danny Brown sampled the score in one of his songs, and I thought that was cool as hell.
Nice.
We will do some Googling and we'll put it in the comments, folks.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, there we
figure it
go.
out. Well, I'm gonna figure out.
Links in the description.
Please click that like and subscribe. Smash that button.
Smash that motherfucking button.
Any last thoughts on Immaculate before we move forward?
10 out of 10 as advertised. Watch it tonight. Favorite horror film of the year so far.
10 out of 10, not as advertised, but slamming.
I meant that it was immaculate.
Oh yeah,
Is in fact Immaculate.
The title does fit. It bangs. It's great. Check it out, please.
Yep.
Do yourself a favor.
Same. And Lucy, the next one was from your recommendation. And this is Incantation from 2022, directed by Kevin Ko. And this one is from Taiwan.
Yeah.
And you, it's on Netflix right now, and you recommended it. And why should we watch Incantation?
Well, first off, allow me to say, who ho say she say wooma, who ho say she see.
Did you write down the incantation?
No, I just have it memorized.
That's amazing.
It's not like they don't say it enough in the movie.
Yeah, they point it into your brain. I learned how to do the reverse lotus hand thing after I saw this.
Nice.
Like,
yeah.
This
business.
This movie had like a huge effect on me. And I kind of saw it like on a serious whim. Like, I feel like I saw someone on TikTok or something say like, oh, if you're looking for a really cool foreign horror film, Incantation is on Netflix. And I said, okay, sure. And man, oh man, you guys know me. I'm the big found footage guy. I love a camcorder. And God, how do you succinctly put this movie? So there's a lady, and she used to be a part of like a documentary team that did a sort of pseudo paranormal, let's go talk to a bunch of weirdos kind of show. And they were doing a bunch of filming, whatever.
They were like ghost hunters. They were like
ghost
hunters crew.
But they don't. I mean, they're clearly like YouTubers, and one of the crew members knows like the uncle, the grand.
That's right. Yeah, his
his
family
uncle.
is from that village.
So like that's their in.
It's
They're
her,
like
boyfriend and his brother and their uncle are involved.
Yeah. So basically, they do weirdo YouTube content, and their travels take them to this isolated Buddhist village where they practice a very specific sect of Buddhism. And yeah, they get in because the boyfriend and brother are from there. or their family is from there or whatever.
Right.
And they go, and shit is bonkers, and it causes a leading lady to have a sort of mental break. And she, ultimately...
No, I think
No
she's
way.
doing fine.
She ultimately has and loses a daughter, but she regains her daughter's custody. And the movie begins itself with her, like, sort of trying to reconnect with the daughter. And then this awful story unravels around it.
Well, and we should say she's pregnant at the time of the shooting.
Yeah.
The photographing. And that's when, the bad stuff happens and she has her mental break. And that's why she doesn't necessarily, when you say lose the child, I didn't know if people might think.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, she didn't miscarry or anything.
Right.
The baby was taken away because she was mentally unwell. Yeah.
But then she, slowly is rehabilitated and she's attempting to reconnect with her daughter 6 years later.
Until she is not rehabilitated anymore.
And we have kind of dual storylines, the 6 years ago and the present.
Yeah, if the plot wasn't complicated enough, they decided to present it to you in out of order. And they remind you later, like, oh yeah, this was a while ago. And you're like,
well, let me first say, Chad, you need to play more Final Fantasy and get better with your in medias res.
How actually dare you assume I don't play enough Final Fantasy?
Well, last I checked, I believe you have a job and partner, so you're not playing enough Final Fantasy, buddy. I'm sorry.
Right now. Hang on, I'll be right back. Hey, babe, put that down. No, it's in the back of the fridge.
Hey, honey, I'm raiding. Stop it. But yeah, I will totally admit that the first time I saw this movie, I was transfixed. It's got such an incredible vibe, and it's really creepy. Like it'll get into your skin. But I didn't fully have it click until as to what was going on until the second time I watched the movie, showing it to some friends. Then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But
as I was watching it, I was looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that rewards a second or third or fourth or however many times I've seen it viewing.
Spoilers for the movie. There's a couple of times in the film where there's like a whole running theme where the narrator wants you to chant along. Mm-hmm. And I got to see this movie with the doc. Yep. And the two of us kept looking at each other like, are you going to do it? I was like, fuck no.
Oh, you guys are lame.
No, absolutely not. Don't throw
well,
that
it turns out, those who are complicit are,
yeah, it's okay for you,
part of the problem.
You're already cursed.
Yeah, I would say this is nothing for me. Oh my God, hold on, I made it worse. But no, this is a Tuesday for me, guys. What are you talking about?
There's a whole moment in that movie where they had like the symbol that they show during the chant, and then it was all these words were written in white around it.
Oh man, that is what made this one of my favorite movies of 2022.
Okay, good. I'm happy you were happy about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking dope.
Yeah, so sort of to wrap this around, yada, 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 you find out there's some sort of horrible, evil Buddhist curse. I don't know.
Is there any other kind of horrible, evil Buddhist curse?
Yeah, I don't really know the metrics there, but there's some sort of horrible curse going around, and the only way to sort of pass it off is to get more people to take it on, and it dilutes,
dissipates it. Yeah,
it dilutes the strength of the curse.
It's like the opposite of clapping for Tinkerbell and Peter Pan.
Yeah. So instead of like a bunch of terrible shit happening to you, everybody's coffee is going to be just a little bit
just a little shitty, just a little gritty and shitty. Everything's gonna be a little too cold after it comes out the microwave.
The way they sort of play this out to you is narrator, main character lady is like staring deadpan into the camera, and she explains all this. No, she doesn't do that first. She's like, I need your help. And they teach you the who ho say she see say woo ma chant. It's not that hard, guys. Who ho say she see say woo ma. It's all one syllable. It's not so bad.
I'm not fucking saying it.
Come on, just say it a little bit.
No, absolutely
But
Just the tip. It's fine.
oh, I've heard that one a time or
A
two.
couple of times.
And then next thing you know, there's a whole guy's arm inside. But anyway,
And that was when we got kicked off YouTube.
yeah.
Good night,
I'm a
everybody.
puppet. I meant that literally. There's no. If you took that as something different, that's on you, brother. I don't know what to tell you.
Anyway,
Oh man, plausible deniability is my best friend.
Don't back down now. We're going deep.
Well,
So
I'm
to speak,
telling you,
yeah.
Yeah, that
I got a
wasn't a
guy up to
metaphor.
my head right now. Man. Oh jeez, sorry guys. But yeah, so they do this thing where she's like, "I need your help, please chant along," and they start with that. Say, she, say, and they got the throat singing going on in the background, and then they blast your retinas with a harsh white screen,
yeah.
and they're flashing this crazy sigil and a bunch of words like submit and like really heavy ass words like that. And they keep flashing the words and flashing the sigil, and the chant gets louder and louder. And then it boils to a fever pitch until it all stops and the screen is stark white. And I don't know if it's a history with substance use or what, but I swear it's like the image was burned onto my eyeballs.
Yeah.
What?
And like you can see it on the screen still. And then you find out that you've just accepted the curse. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I didn't
But
ask for this.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of moments in the movie where you can actually see the symbol in the background and
Yeah,
on, like,
yeah.
things.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so
I thought that was
badass.
That was pretty cool.
It reminded me a bit of the original Ring film.
Yeah, it's
The
got a
Hideo
Ringu
Nakata,
vibe.
where like you accidentally open the door and you see the videotape and you're like, fuck.
Well, shit. This is me now.
That was
I didn't-
literally what we were talking about while we were watching the movie. We were
Yep.
like, oh, fuck, are we cursed now?
And
Damn it.
the movie does a good job of like almost making you feel like you might be cursed. It's got a cool. I love. I'm a big Rocky Horror guy. You know, I love audience
No.
participation. Yeah, who'd have thought? But I love audience participation. You know, I like any time a movie sort of
Asks you to
bridges
invest.
that gap and wants you to get it. So stop being so cool and get silly and chant along with the nice lady.
Absolutely. No, I won't fucking do that. I know. I don't want to be cursed. I like my coffee the way it is. Thank you.
I don't know. You ever had it just a little burnt? It makes me feel like I paid too much for it at
it's called-
Starbucks.
It's called going to 7-Eleven for fucking.
Well, and we
Way down
have
binge.
our 6-year-old child who is seems to be connecting. Refers to it as the baddie. Like
Oh.
there's
you
a.
meant in the movie. I was like, okay, I didn't know we were gonna
Didn't
be
you know about
public
my 6-year-old
that.
child?
Yeah, you owe us about 6 years of child support, Chad. We
All right,
wanted
well,
to
this
get
has
you
been
on
fun.
camera
Oh,
to
I
talk
can't-
about
something's wrong. Something must be wrong with my Wi-Fi.
it. We got him. We fucking got him.
Nailed it.
I'll have a seat.
But we have our 6-year-old who's kind of having that connection with the supernatural entity. And again, it's referred to as the baddie. And I love the fact that it's on those kind of child terms where it is this kind of ghost that lives in the closet or under the bed.
Or on the
around-
goddamn ceiling.
Well,
That was awesome.
oh man, around the corner where you just see the arms reaching out.
Oh, that was so dope. There was a moment in that movie where they did an effect with arms that I still haven't figured out because I thought that was pretty sweet. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But there was a moment in the film when the doc and I were watching and the little kid kept talking to the wall in the corner and I just kept going, nope, nope, no.
I also like it's a modern horror movie, so there's at least 2 people on fire, fully engulfed in flame.
Yep.
No, seriously, watch any horror movie made
true.
after Hereditary.
It's
You're
true.
gonna see
Yep.
somebody fully engulfed in flame.
that image of our one character fully engulfed in flames up on like a pole is like that's like Hereditary meets Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
You're like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
Maybe a couple of times to be like, who is that? I can't tell because they're on fire.
Oh, Chad, you just got to get to know people better,
Yeah, that's
buddy.
true. I'm not really close to humans.
But there was something really visceral about that, where something about them being suspended from that
Yeah,
contraption
yeah.
was just it was brutal.
Yeah. And again, once again, all of our performances are really strong. I was invested in everybody. I thought that even the smaller, like creepy supporting characters are really good. I like the drama of her trying to keep her kid, even though you're kind of like, maybe you shouldn't have.
You should not have this child. Absolutely not.
This,
No.
I don't know that you're ready for this.
I think you need to like donate that kid to Zach Bagans or something, because you might not be equipped to deal with what's going on.
And it takes us all the way to the end. And yeah, we are invited to help dissipate the curse. And there's a kind of a surprising emotional resonance that I felt at the end, where I was like, yeah, like if everybody would help take on the curses of the others, like we could spread it out, but most of us are not willing to do that.
Yeah. And I thought that was a interesting thing. Everybody, it's sort of a hot button at this point to talk about like generational trauma and all that kind of stuff. But I thought that was a really interesting like look at it. If to look at it through that sort of generational inherited trauma, whatever you want to call it. If everybody was sort of on the level about that kind of thing,
yeah, right.
and everybody had the knowledge and grace to deal with it, it would be so much easier for everybody.
Yep.
And make the world better as a whole. But, not everybody's going to really put the time into doing that. I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
It's a pretty tough talk from a demon down there. Just like, if everybody would just get a little cursed, everything will be fine.
I'm just saying, sign the contract already.
Sign the contract.
I'm working on it. I got to get some finances working.
You and your agent, I swear.
It is a good deal.
That was weird.
This is fun.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that chant. That was kind of strange. I will say, I'm not I'm not going to do like a whole spoiler. I thought the reveal at the end could have been cooler.
Are you talking about the cursed object reveal?
Yeah.
I thought that was terrifying.
It was creepy.
That really fucked me up for like a couple of days.
With the tone and the sort of general message of the movie, I know what I wanted it to be.
Okay.
And when it was not that, I was like, that's cool, but I think you could have made a statement.
Sure.
Let me just say, without saying what it is and all of that stuff, when they reveal the cursed object, I was fully hoping it was going to be a mirror.
Okay.
That would have been deep.
Yeah. Eat a little postage stamp and think about that. Talk to me later.
Okay, so here's my question: did it have to be found footage? Was there an upside to being found footage? Because I found myself caught up in that terrible found footage thing. I'm like, why and who is recording this? And like, I think it would have really played well as a straight narrative. And in some ways, the found footage I found distracting in the way that I don't like found footage to be distracting.
We talked about this when we were done.
Yeah.
I don't think it needed to all be found footage. I think like the movie could have been just fine.
I could have been fine with some elements of it.
Cinematic film. And then, like, when it was time for the found footage, like with the pipe, when they were going in the tunnel, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was the footage that they
we should have seen that.
Or
like what was it that they saw? What was it they encountered?
Or, like, the horrifying, like, daycare, security footage that they showed that was really fucking effective.
Yeah.
But, like, the whole thing being found footage, I thought was a little weird.
I honestly kind of forgot it was found footage about an hour into the movie. Like when they were doing the flashback segments, like when they're in the village and stuff, that, I was fully like, oh yeah, these are the videotapes, sure. But during all the sort of modern day things, the found footage trappings just kind of faded away for me. And I was viewing it like a traditional narrative film.
Okay.
I think
until, of course, she grabs the laptop and starts talking to it. Then it's kind of hard to avoid.
Spoilers, there is a moment where someone grabs a laptop and talks to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I ruined the movie. How will you ever enjoy it?
Well, and I think we may have reached a moratorium on people smashing their faces into laptops into oblivion. I think
that was what I was trying to say, because you were talking about how like it's a modern horror movie, so people are on fire. I was like, no, it's a horror movie because people are smashing their faces.
Yeah,
that's
I
just
do
like
think
across the board. We need to stop with the smashy face. We've seen it. It's been 100 movies now. I get it. You can smash your face, humans.
And if you're gonna do a smashy face, you better play that Hammer Smash Face song by Cannibal Corpse. If I don't hear Corpse Grinder going Hammer Smashed Face beforehand, I don't want it.
Nice.
But yeah, I do think that kind of peaked with the Host.
Yeah.
Like
good.
they
host and Talk to Me, like right around,
Yeah.
Well,
brutal.
and even before Host, there was a YouTube video, God, years and years and years ago, in the early days of YouTube, before ads and monetization. But there was a viral marketing campaign for some film. I can't remember the movie now, but the video was presented as if it was a woman doing like a makeup tutorial. And about, I don't know, a minute or so into the video, she just starts slamming her face on the keyboard.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
And it was a viral marketing ad for some horror film.
Oh, wow.
Which can't remember what the movie was now to save my life. But the video was so creepy, and it flew around all the creepypasta boards and stuff. And a lot of people thought it was real and all that stuff. But it was awesome.
Cool. I have not seen this, and now I want to.
Yeah, I'll link that one.
I was going to say, if I can find it, we'll put a little link over by channel.
Oh boy, I'm going to start showing you guys YouTube poops. It's going to melt your brain.
You don't think I don't know about your YouTube poops? We text.
Anything else about Incantation?
Just watch it.
Yeah, it's a solid watch. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I feel like if I was going to do a 10 out of 10, it would not have as much found footage in it. But other than that, it was legitimately frightening, and I was not happy when it was over because I was afraid I may have been curse adjacent.
I'm 9 out of 10ing this one. I recommend it to everyone. Like anytime somebody's like, "Hey, I've been wanting to see a new horror movie, but I don't really know. There's a lot out there." I just tell them, "Shut up, watch Incantation. Talk to me when you're done."
That's kind of what you did with us.
That's literally how you.
Like, what shall we watch next? And you're like, Incantation.
Trust me until you watched it. I think is what.
And then you guys text me, and you're like, "There's no movie called Invocation. What are you talking about?"
That's true. We spent a good hour trying to find this movie.
I was like, Invocation sounds like a cool movie, but it doesn't
it
exist.
Is a
not
good name,
exist. By the way, that is out there,
one.
everyone.
Yeah.
You young horror makers, Invocation is an available title.
Yep. And I'll take just a small percentage off the top.
You're welcome.
I bet there's already some like indie VHS press Mondo ass movie called Invocation that some guy in Silver Lake made with $1 in a dream.
Yeah, it's the Omen for suburbanites.
Whoa.
And then we're going to jump into the Wayback Machine.
Isolation.
Head to Isolation, which was actually also featured in our book Hidden Horror.
Right.
John Kitley wrote on that one, and it is written and directed by Billy O'Brien. It is Irish. And that was my pick. And it is basically set on an Irish farm.
Is there any other kind?
All these films are kind of remote. I just noted. Like everything's kind of like away from civilization.
Wow, we did a whole theme this time.
We did eyes. We did remote.
Yeah, we're doing great.
And
content.
But we have our farmer Dan, who has volunteered his cows up for a biological experiment.
Very handsome farmer Dan.
Yes,
too,
he is.
by the
Yes,
way.
he is. That's John Lynch. And
is that the Andy Garcia looking with the eyebrows?
Yes, yeah, our main farmer guy.
Yeah.
I was calling him Randy Garcia.
It is not he.
No.
But Essie Davis from The Babadook plays the veterinarian. Did you recognize her?
I thought she looked familiar. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so she plays the veterinarian who is in cahoots with the doc. And then we have our two runaway lovers who are living in a trailer, and they are played by Ruth Negga. And oh man, I'm blanking.
Incredible Sean Harris, who I remember from the Mission Impossible movie.
Correct. He plays the raspy voiced villain.
Because he has a kick-ass voice that makes dude from Sex and the City sound like a chump.
So here's a peek behind the curtain for you viewers. The good doctor sent us a interview with our writer director guy here. I've already forgotten his name.
Billy O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah. So I didn't want to just say I didn't want to just say O'Brien and be like xenophobic or something. But
no, he's as Irish as delivered. He's like,
Yeah.
no, it's Billy.
Yeah,
O'Brien.
that's what I picked up in the interview too.
Yeah,
Very
just a bit.
Irish man. I read the interview and he was talking about how that Sean guy was so intense
Yup.
with his like acting, and he was freaking everybody out because he stayed outside in the rain all the time.
Yep.
That doesn't strike me as anything weird. Coming
And
from
then
Sean
of
Harris.
course Sean Harris goes on to become, big star. So, there's something to this method business, I
and
guess.
Andy Garcia is still getting work.
And the law of attraction here, I just recently learned about like the traveler culture in Ireland, how they're sort of like Irish Romani. They just sort of roam around and stuff. And I just learned about that about a week ago. And then this movie comes on where he's like, how don't tempt me with a good time. And this guy's like, oh, how's things with the traveler boy? And I was like, oh, I know what that is now. Whoa.
See, last time it was the Hardy Bucks, and now it's the Traveler Boys. This is great.
Yeah, they got all the great quote unquote documentary film team names here.
Well, and what I didn't realize, and I still haven't seen the movie, but Billy O'Brien's next film was I Am Not a Serial Killer, which I've been meaning to watch for ages. And now that I remember that it is he who directed it, I am absolutely going to be checking it out soon.
Oh,
it's playing on Shudder right now.
I've not heard of that, but I love an on the nose title like that.
I Am Not a Serial Killer. So they say.
He's not.
And to talk about that interview one more time, I felt very validated because in watching the opening crawl for this movie, I was like, whoa, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes are so real.
Yep.
Like all of those shots of the farm equipment and the moon behind the trees and the very real nature of all of it. I was like, wow, this is a lot like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then him in the interview saying, I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was like, okay, yeah, cool. I got it. That's right.
Well, and your human meat slave and I both grew up on farms, and there is such a valid authenticity about everything that happens. Like it all feels very real, very lived in. And I love the fact that we use things like farm implements. We have things like slurry pits.
They actually used his dad's old whatever that thing is called.
Birthing winch.
Winch. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean,
which I was like, there's
and
so much about this movie where I was like, ew.
Well, and you're like, wait, that's like actual life. That's like life on the farm. That's not even horror. That's just
that's where your food comes from, buddy.
It's true. Well, I don't know about mine, but I don't know about you.
Yeah, you eat like millet and shit, I'm sure.
Yeah, man, but I mean, it's farmed from somewhere, but we don't have to use a goddamn crane to pull it out of a living being.
Well, and that's the thing. Like in the movie,
why don't we?
Anyway. We have things are going wrong in this biological experiment because they've impregnated them.
As they often do.
Especially with your Romanian, mad scientists. But yeah, that the calves are born pregnant with these weird parasitic creatures, and they're kind of like little
toenail worms.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was calling them bone worms, but
I also like bone worm, and I.
But that sounds like something you like give to your girlfriend every now and again. Yeah.
But I love the fact that those creatures don't look like anything. No, they're just like these weird, like collection of like bony tentacle. They're kind of face huggery, but not really.
Awful centipede things.
Yeah.
They went full on the more realistic the thing.
Yeah, that's I kept finding myself thinking like, wow, this is like the Thing on a farm.
Yeah.
Thing
on a farm with a budget.
Hey, but they made that budget work, dude.
Yeah, they did.
It was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, loved it. No,
I'm so glad you guys
super
liked it.
Freaked out. Loved it.
I greatly enjoyed it. Let's see. I did have a lot of thoughts.
I do have some notes on that one. Number one, there's an awful lot of noises that I can't stand, like
city boy
that are twisting. Don't like it. Don't like tarp noises and a lot of squelching. So I was already disturbed. So I was like, well,
there's a lot of squelching.
Done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh yeah. I don't know where you guys watch this. I watched it on Tubi.
I also watched it on TV.
If you're not checking out Tubi, you're really screwing yourself.
Really are, man.
Because
it's the back
they
of
got
the VHS like blockbuster of
yeah,
dreams.
It's totally got that. They got all the video store hits, and it's free.
Yep.
You just got to watch ads. But we all like to look at our phones anyway, so like don't complain about it.
That's your time to watch and look at your phone. Exactly.
Yeah,
and that Tubi.
But in the I don't know if you guys watch movies with closed captions. I can't hear without captions.
I love me some captions.
So when you might want to throw a spoiler up, but
Sure.
yeah, I'll wait. Spoilers! But when one of the critters attacks a good Romanian doctor, the Tubi subtitle for that is John gets mauled. And I thought that was awesome. I took a picture and I put that on Twitter and was like, wow, subtitle of the year goes to Isolation.
Because everybody has a universal knowledge of what John gets mauled sounds like.
Yeah,
and so
I know
it's a
what
reference.
John, I know what mauling sounds like.
Yep. Oh, man, that's great. I don't think my DVD subtitles say John gets mauled, so...
Yeah, it says John gets mauled, and then here's another spoiler. It says John gets mauled, and then Dan getting mauled, I think was another subtitle.
Well, and that's...
Dan Getting Mauled was the prequel series they did after John Gets Mauled.
Yeah, that's for Netflix only.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris was in both.
And the sound design was really sparse. Like there's not a lot of music, and
the music though was super dope.
Oh,
though. Like
the
super
tones,
70s. Loved it.
Tones.
Yep.
But also the sound of that fucking cattle assassination gun.
Yeah,
that was brutal.
That was so intense,
and it gets used a lot.
Yeah, but I also kept hearing the hitchhiker. No, is it the hitchhiker? I kept hearing one of the Texas Chainsaw Brothers being like, "That's no good. That's no good. You got to do the hammer. That's no good."
Yeah. It is the hitchhiker. Yeah. That was a really good impression too. Of
thanks. It's the latent hillbilly in my soul. I can't help it.
But I love how we also have, like, if the creature bites you, you are infected, or if it gets inside of you in any way.
My meat bag here was watching this with his husband last night, and there's the awkward sex scene between Traveler Man and his girlfriend, Mary. That's her name,
right?
Yeah.
And
played by Oscar nominee Ruth Negga.
Yep.
Yeah.
For her, by the way.
Somebody isolate that audio. Anyway, that was a joke we made at the top of the movie. Like, I don't know if I can say her name, but. Oh my God. Anyway,
you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. But when they got done, smashing it out or whatever, what? No, that's what they were doing.
Is that what you call it at your house?
Yeah, it's real tender.
That's beautiful. It's like a song.
Yeah, smashing it out.
Tinder touch.
Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
In an RV on a farm in Ireland.
One of us is possessed.
Or at least parasitic. But
when Harry Chapin-esque there.
Yeah, I'm going for it. I'm working on a career here.
I think the Carpenters wrote that.
No, I think it was the Mamas and the Papas. So it's a little weird. But when they got done doing that, and the worm thing starts crawling up into the bed to try and get at the goods, I remember the meatbag looks over to his husband and is like, "Oh no, they just got done smashing it out, and that thing's going for the punani." And he stood up and said, "I'm going to bed."
Going to bed.
Yeah.
I love your husband already.
Yeah, he's a mensch. He's great.
Oh man, that's where he checked out. He was done.
Yeah, I think his words were, "I didn't need to hear that. I'm going to sleep."
That movie was exceptionally gross, by the way.
Oh, it was so nasty. Slurry pits. Slurry pits.
Not just the gore, but the like things you had to touch and things you
Yeah.
had to see.
Yeah, and that's farm life,
That's
baby.
That's farm life.
Now,
man.
for those who don't know, Lucy, would you elucidate nice,
Elucidate.
Writ large.
elucidate on what a slurry pit is?
So the larger point writ large with a slurry pit is
Elucidate us.
yeah, in it. So you got cows. You got lots of cows generally if you got a farm, and lots of cows is basically more than one cow. If you ever had to feed a cow, basically they're creatures that like live outside for the most part, and in places like Ireland, it gets very, very cold. So you can't just be sticking them outside and hoping for the best. You got to put them inside, especially in rainy climates like Ireland, because they're going to get all sorts of cow sicknesses and die. And not only are you losing a loved companion, that's probably, a month's wage out the door.
Yep.
So in the wintertime or the rainy season, farmers will often put their cows inside in like a barn situation, and you feed them and all that in there. And, well, it's a big critter with 3 stomachs. They got to go to the bathroom sometimes. And a slurry pit is basically a swimming pool filled with water and, the waste byproducts of cows.
Yep. It's a big manure-laden swimming pool.
But it is beautiful. And what's the word I'm looking for?
Shit pond.
Well, that too. But it's... that too, but it serves a purpose, because then once the warm weather comes around, you use that to fertilize your plants.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it serves a purpose, but you don't want to go swimming in it looking for dead bodies of a woman you may or may not have a weird infatuation with. That's all I'm saying.
And yet that happens in this movie.
Don't go swim in the slurry pool with anyone else but me.
Man, they used to sing that song to us when we were kids. How do you know that?
Farm life.
It's a great little creature feature movie. I
think, expect it to be a creature feature, by the way.
Well, that's the thing. I think
me neither. Yeah,
it's a lot of surprises. I think where it decides to go. I think once it becomes a creature feature, it becomes a little more predictable. You get the chase.
Oh yeah. Well, there's only 2 ways to go in a creature feature.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. And I do want to say I did see that the ending scene coming about a mile away.
You did because you texted us.
Yeah, I said I knew it. I knew it. I'm never mad at being able to predict a movie. Like it's just I watch a lot of movies. People repeat stories all the time, and it's kind of satisfying.
Yeah,
it's like when the cupcake comes out with the candle on it, and you go, "Oh, look, they knew it was my birthday."
Yeah.
Oh, but I do gotta when they were. So, okay, it's a crazy genetic experiment. We talked about that. And in the beginning, they're trying to, which also the movie starts out in the first 10 minutes. You see a woman elbow deep inside of a cow.
Yep.
It's the miracle of life, ladies and gentlemen. And
that's where your food comes from, folks.
Exactly. She was trying to get some veal, I think, but
coveted veal, man. It's good stuff. Apparently, I won't touch it, but that's just me.
But something like messed up happens to the vet lady when she's doing that, and she raises a concern to the doctor, and they do an ultrasound, and he's like, "It's a calf. What do you want?" And then later in the movie, he's reviewing the ultrasound, and he does the good old-fashioned computer enhance.
He does. Yep. I loved that scene.
And the gnashing teeth in the ultrasound was awesome.
So freaky.
And I appreciate that they just did like a sort of synth drop and didn't really do a jump scare.
Yeah, it's a stinger that they do throughout the movie. This like synth tone that I thought made it super 70s.
Yeah, I got that's like sample worthy. It was an awesome sound.
Get after it. I know you're working on an album, so get in there.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm glad you dug it because I was watching it, and it's one of those where I go, I hope they like this. I hope they like this.
Oh, there was no universe where I wouldn't like it. You put a horror movie on a farm, I'm going to have a good time. Then you unexpectedly make it a creature feature out of the blue. You've got my number. It's fantastic. Good. Awesome.
Well, and I do recommend y'all read John Kitley's essay in Hidden Horror if you have not already, because it's quite well writ, and you get a little bit more insight as well as the interview, which I'll post in the description below.
It's a great book, and you should get it if you don't have it. It lives
I can't
on my
believe you don't
coffee
have it by
table.
now. I've been talking about it. Come on.
Check it out, folks.
Why do we even have a book?
Look, let me tell you, anytime I'm like, I want to watch a movie, I don't know what I want to watch, I just flip to a page
Flip,
in
flip,
that
flip.
book, and if I land on something I haven't seen, it's going on the TV.
Yup.
Yep. And if you land on something you have seen, you're like, I want to watch that again.
I want to argue with this review.
Yeah. Maybe not. I about called it the wrong name. That was a different movie.
Can't wait.
Pulse. Whatever
Oh.
the Japanese name for Pulse was.
Oh, Cairo?
Cairo. I was thinking Kuso, but that was that movie Flying Lotus put out.
Yeah.
Also a very weird movie.
Are you not a fan of Pulse?
I liked it, but I expected something different. You
Okay,
know what I
that's
mean?
fair.
Yeah.
Did you see Spiral, which is also in the book?
Spiral. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Now, is that the Junji Ito?
No,
Uzumaki?
that's Uzumaki.
Yes. Well,
Spiral, though.
Uzumaki / Spiral. That is the movie I'm talking about.
Oh,
okay.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, again, I've not seen that film, but I've read the manga. Oh my god.
Ah,
You did
nice.
You went for it. I was going to
Yes.
say it, but you took
You
it.
are hardcore.
Junji Ito is the man. What do
Yeah,
you
it really
want?
I'm very excited about that animated one that they're bringing out.
Yeah,
it's not
it's gonna
quite
be
finished
cool.
yet, but it looks dope.
Cool. So we give
We say in the
what's
back of the bookstore, and we're like, hey, you guys can go away now. We're talking.
Yeah.
what's our rating for Isolation?
10 out of 10.
What? Really?
Yeah, I thought it was great. It's exactly what it was supposed to be. It's indie, and there's like, of course you can improve upon it because it's like, if you had a bigger budget, there'd be this, that, and the other thing. But like as an indie film, it's like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
I'm really impressed what they did with the budget
Yep,
because it is a
me
low
too.
budget film, and I think I'm sad that it seems to have kind of like slipped into obsolescence because it was a big festival winner on the circuit, and I thought it would have a little more staying power, but people don't hear about it now, which is why I wanted to highlight it here.
Well, and even in that interview, O'Brien talks about how like they had a lot of trouble getting an American distributor, and like European companies were more willing to put it out, and like I think Lionsgate US was one of the people that was supposed to do it, and then they just sort of were like, nah.
I mean, they picked it up, but then they just kind of did nothing with it.
If it was a higher budget, like bigger film, I think maybe 7. But the fact that it's indie, that's what gets it that extra 3 for me.
okay.
I'm calling it like a solid 8.
Yeah.
I really didn't have any complaints about it. But nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Except for
really,
Immaculate.
Except for Immaculate.
Well, Immaculate it gets such a high score because it used my
High
own
budget
mind
movie.
against me.
right?
Yeah, I don't give a damn about how much money they spent on it. They took my expectations as a horror film fan and like totally flipped. I've been able to predict the outcome of so many movies based on the trailer alone, and not being able to know what was going to happen in this one, like really cast a spell.
You are a well-versed horror fan, and it still got you.
I try my best to be.
You're
know?
doing great.
Yeah, the doctors call it something else, but you know.
Doc, what'd you give it?
I would give it a solid 8 as well. So I think it's one of those.
I guess technically I'm also giving it like a 7 or an 8, but I'm giving it extra points because it's indie. So
Right. No, I mean it deserves all of that. I think it deserves your time, viewer. And so I hope you check it out. And it's on Tubi and it's free. So what are you waiting for?
Also,
Yeah,
go
it's-
get Tubi. Get on Tubi.
It's going on my recommendation list instantly. Like if somebody asks me for like, what's something interesting you've watched recently, I'm throwing Isolation out, hands down.
Well, all 3 of these are ones that I'm mentioning now.
Yup.
So I like that we got a solid trifecta this time around.
It's almost like we love ice cream. What can I say?
Whoa.
Ice screaming and streaming.
I say, I love ice. I love screams. I love ice cream. You can't lose is what I'm getting at.
So thanks for tuning in for Ice Cream
I was
Sunday.
watching that just go off the cliff, and I'm just happy to have been a part of it.
I like being at the bottom of the cliff and just watching it slowly come down.
Yeah,
And like that chick from Immaculate.
Good
Whoa! Go back.